Today we hiked the Dunn's Farm Trail. It's off of 218 in Middleburg. Trailhead has great parking. There are some other trails. This is the Pioneer Trail that shoots off of this one. Lots of these little creeks along the trail. Take a listen. Back on the trail. Came across this interesting down tree and some primitive campsites. These moss balls are absolutely adorable. So many of them. Also came across this plant with puffy little buds. But let's get back on the trail. This was another trail, but again, we're sticking to the Dunn's Farm one. Take a listen to this one. I could have stayed out there for so long. But we have miles to cover, so let's go. Somewhere at this point, it wasn't at this exact point because it would have been great if it was, there was a mama hog and her baby hog that ran across right in front of us. Again, if it was at this point, it'd been wonderful because I was rolling footage, but of course my phone was in my pocket, and by the time I could get it out, those little piggies were crying wee 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 all the way home and nowhere near my camera. There's a bucket with a tree growing out of it. Not sure how long it's been there, but take a look at that. And then we came upon these other primitive campsites with a waterfront view. Jeff and I liked this one a lot better than the first one we came upon. Not quite sure this was at this site. Then we're up to the Dunn Cemetery. We knew this was on the trail, so we looked for it. It's about a 0.3 tenths mile hike off the main trail, and you do have to jump on the Pioneer Trail for a little ways. But it is a pretty nice little cemetery. After reading through the headstone, while it appears to be new, it was an older cemetery, and there are about 12 known individuals there, 2 unknown as it's listed. Each flower signifies a site. That's the headstone. And there were also 2 outside of the fenced area. But I'm going to have to do some research on this to find out the age of the actual burial sites. They were all Pagets that were out there. So yeah, I'm interested to look into that a little bit more, but it was kept up very well. We did not go in out of respect. But again, after being able to read the memorial stone, I'll call it, maybe not so much a headstone, but a memorial stone. It lists everybody's name and it lists 2 unknown. There are no dates though. So that's what I'm interested in finding out. Just some other shots of coming in and what we saw. Whoever keeps it up has a nice little hike in and out every time. But it's time to leave, get back down on the trail. This was a stairway taking us down towards the water. That was a pretty good quote unquote creek right there. Had some good moving water. coming back out, I came upon this thing. You see it in there? I turned the corner.
I'm mad at you.
And this was right in the middle of the trail. I mean, literally, I almost stepped on it.
Jeffrey Adams.
I told Jeff to go poke at it.
There he goes.
It scurried off.
He's hiding.
But yeah, it made me jump.
That's enough of that.
Still shot of it, if you can see it. So we came across Prescott Falls. Great place to just sit, unwind. There's another smaller. Of course, I had to get my hands in there, and the water was cool and just beautiful. Never thought in Middleburg I would happen upon anything like this. But we are in North Florida. We do have ravines. We have lots of springs. But just the type of environment out here is a lot different. Yep, there's Jeff. Again, this was where the Pioneer Trail and the Dunn's Farm Trail combined, so it was a shared trail. Pioneer Trail had blue blazes. Dunn's Farm had more of a magenta blaze to follow. Very well maintained. Kudos to whoever goes out there and keeps this up. We're looking at Schoolhouse Falls now. Beautiful. Duck Pond Falls was a little different. It had a little pool. Oh, and in your local neighborhood squirrel. He was a big dude. But it had a little pool that it dumped into. I really wanted to jump into the pool, but yeah, it was discouraged. So there goes Mr. Squirrel up the tree. Look at that, though. Oh, don't you just want to jump in there? Squirrel says I do it every day. And we made it back to the truck, Dunn's Farm Trail, and our route.